In the room, it a mood, it a wave. Gloss on my lips and my hustle well paid. Silk in my step, got a vibe you can't fake. Sugar and smoke with a hint of heartbreak. Eyes low, truth high. Talk sweet, but I don't lie. Cool breeze, but I burn slow. You ain't seen fire in a glow like so. I'm velvet and vices, jazzed up in slices. Trap queen dreams with a saxophone soul. I don't chase, I stroll. Heavy crown like toast. Tune in, sit back, let the story unfold. Lights in the scene set just right. Gold on my skin, catch the glow in the night. Whisper my name, feel the heat when I speak. Soft to the touch, but my mind stay elite. Eyes low, truth high. Talk sweet, but I don't lie. Cool breeze, but I burn slow. You ain't seen fire in a glow like so. I'm velvet and vices, jazz up in slices. Trap queen dreams with a saxophone soul. I don't chase, I stroll. Heavy sound like toast. Tune in, sit back, let the story unfold.
Hey everybody, hey everybody, hey everybody, hey everybody, hey Amanaz, hey Triggs, how y'all doing? Welcome to Netflix and Spill. Please also always remember that Velvet and Vices is available on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Tune Music. It's a little bit of everywhere. You know, doing what it is that I do. But you guys, I wasn't gonna do this show today, but then I was like, let me just get it done. I had, a busy day in the neighborhood, and I was like, I gotta get things done because the rest of my week is kind of busy. I am a mom, I live my life, I do my thing. We hustle, we grinding, but yes. Again, Velvet Devices available on Apple Music, as well as all of the music from the Petty LaBelles. Get into it. So, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I bring you a tale of terror. Not just playing, it's not a tale of terror though. But this is just some type of stuff that I be into, a little geeky girl I am. But again, welcome to Netflix and Spill. Tonight, we're diving headfirst into the wild, unsettling world of the Manhattan alien abduction. Netflix docuseries about Linda Napolitano's alleged extraterrestrial encounters. I want you guys to buckle up. This story's got more twists than a Catskills back road at midnight, okay? So let's start in the Catskills, 1989. Linda, a New York housewife, claims her first alien encounter. She's terrified, and she calls up UFO researcher Bud Hopkins and says, Bud, something's wrong. She shows up at his place, makeup on, ready to talk, okay? And he puts her under hypnosis. Her first regression, she starts spilling a story that's equal parts eerie and emotional. Picture it, Sicily, 1932, okay? She's weepy, vulnerable, reliving something that sounds straight out of a sci-fi. But here's the kicker. An X-ray from that time shows a weird object lodged in the right side of her nose. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is Linda's actual X-ray. Is this coincidence? Is this an alien implant? You tell me. Now, is hypnotic regression even real? Some say it's a window to the subconscious. Others call it suggestive nonsense. The docuseries in and of itself doesn't pick a side, but it lays out Linda's story with chilling clarity. And the cinematography is pure brilliance. Honestly, like I'm one of those people that it is about the visuals for me, as you guys can clearly tell, because I'm always doing something with the visuals and the production of the content on my show. Like this docuseries was done in pure film noir brilliance. It was very shadowy, it was very moody, it was like a detective story. Straight out of the 50s, okay? But they were chasing UFOs instead of mobsters. The way they weave Linda's perspective with Carol Rainey, Bud's wife and filmmaker, is flawless. It's like watching two truths collide, neither fully trusting the other. But let's talk about Carol for a second. From the jump, you get the sense that she's not Team Linda. Like from the onset. And I think they started it that way it was very intentional how they did that. Because it's like, oh, well, I'm a scientist and a researcher, so I'm going to prove it if you're lying. Linda's like, this is my story. This is what I went through, and I don't really care. And then they do that little rewind thing. They take it back. And we start seeing the path of the two of them, how they met and so on and so forth. But maybe Carol was never Team Linda because Bud thought Linda was captivating, attractive even. And I mean, I'm not going to hold you. Linda was a very, very beautiful Italian woman in the 40s. And Carol is also beautiful in her own right. But when you compare the two, they don't really compare to one another. So let me see. Can I pull up this picture? I have a picture of the two of them together. I thought I did. And I do. So this is the two of them together. Carol is in the blue. Linda is in the dark gray, dark brown, or whatever. There's a significant difference between the two. But Carol's skepticism, it feels personal. It's like she's got a chip on her shoulder. And yet the docuseries shows Carol talking to witnesses, real people, tangible people, like the newspaper driver who claimed they saw Linda's abduction on November 30th of 1989. So this is twice in the same year that Linda claims to be abducted. One time she was in the Catskills and like she woke up in the grass. Nobody understood what was going on. And then this big magnanimous thing where like 23 people saw her levitating outside of her windows in the projects in Brooklyn. Articles I dug up say there were no verified witnesses, but the film begs to differ. Quite literally, they are rolling out testimony after testimony, and not just like a voiceover where it's like, oh, and Beth from West Tacoma said she saw this. They are showing you on camera interviews with people saying that they saw this phenomenon. Because remember, Carol is a filmmaker. And from the onset of her and Bud meeting Linda, she's been filming everything. So who's right? Then there's the second abduction, Linda's catch and release, as I call it. More hypnosis, more tears, more raw emotion. Linda's not just telling a story, she's reliving it. The docuseries claims government agencies were sniffing around, investigating UFOs. They even play audio of law enforcement's contacts whispering, this is something the government doesn't want to talk about. Spooky, right? But here's the thing. I also watched a documentary from the Trainwreck series, and it was Storm Area 51, where the federal government spent $11 million to protect Area 51 against a meme that was written by like a 20-year-old boy at 2 o'clock in the morning because he was bored and he was doing too much on the internet. So is there some validity and truth? to UFOs and aliens? I don't know. This is for you to decide. I'm just giving you a little bit of tea, a little bit of tea. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, Linda starts feeling paranoid. Her phone's bugged. She's feeling followed in the streets. Two guys, Dan and Richard, show up at her house claiming to be officers who witnessed her abduction. Carol's like, who do these guys work for? She's doubting everything now. Then Bud gets a tape in the mail. And it's allegedly from these agents who worked for none other than Javier Perez de Cuellar, former UN Secretary General. They back Linda's story. Bud's convinced this is the most important UFO case in history. Carol, on the other hand, thinks that Linda's a natural performer, maybe too natural. Now, Linda did have a career as a performer. She was a singer. Her name was Linda Long, and she has a song that's out that they played during the docuseries. It's pretty cool. I was going to play it, but I don't want to really do the whole copyright thing, so I just let that go. Linda's family gets dragged into this too. Her husband, Steve, is rattled. The whole family allegedly had an encounter. Everyone's got nosebleeds, and there's photos to prove it. They literally show you these photos in the docuseries. Linda's son, Johnny, even undergoes hypnosis. His story mirrors his mom's down to the gut-wrenching details. It's devastating to her. Their voices are cracking with pain, and it makes you wonder, is this trauma real or something else? The docuseries hints at spiritual connections, maybe even biblical hybrids, but it leaves you guessing. Bud Hopkins believed that aliens were coming to the earth to extract our DNA to create a cross breed between an alien and a human being. Now, the Bible in and of itself speaks about Nephilim, which is a crossbreed between an angel and a human being. So during biblical times, were the angels that are spoke about actually aliens? It's definitely food for thought. It's definitely something to make you wonder, to keep your inquisitive spirit alive. Linda becomes a 90s talk show darling. She's on Ricky Lake, behind the screen when Ricky Lake was doing the anonymous, guest on the show. She's on Geraldo. She's on Oprah. She's everywhere telling her story. But Carol's not buying it. She starts nitpicking, pulling clips where Linda's not as weepy under hypnosis. But to be honest, like the clip that she pulled of Linda under hypnosis and not weepy was really like maybe 7 seconds, right? However, in the archives of the film that she showed, Linda was weepy several times over. There are several clips where she's under hypnosis and she's telling Bud what happened. And she's like, tears falling down her face and everything else. So I had a problem. Hey, YouTube Unfolded. I had a problem with how Carol tried to frame her perspective. Because Carol only started feeling the type of way after Johnny was introduced to the story. After Bud Hopkins had an epiphany in his life work. After she felt Bud was too emotionally connected to Linda. Carol's like, is she faking? Was she ever really emotional? She even questions a phone call between Buddy and Johnny, claiming that Linda coached her kid. To me, it sounds like a normal chat with a child. Kids are kind of reluctant to talk about things that are bothering them, number one. They're also reluctant to talk to people that are not, really family, especially when they're going through. But Carol painted it like Linda is a master manipulator. Even questioning her parenting. It's getting real personal. Now, things escalate because Carol's picking fights with Bud now, who's offended by her doubts. And again, the docuseries actually shows Carol filming him while asking him questions that discredit his life's work. And he's like, the questions you are asking are so extremely hypothetical that it just simply I can't answer that question. I don't want to talk about that right now. So let's just table the conversation. She feels shut down, seeing slights where there might be none. You know, people have their brains miswired. They perceive that there's problems when there aren't any. She's hell-bent on proving Linda's a fraud. But then we hear from Johnny, Linda's son, now grown. He's now like a 40-year-old man. He's on camera. And again, true to the whole film noir theme, he's blacked out. Like you see the silhouette of his profile and his body. He has a hoodie with the hood up. He has his baseball cap on real low. His face, you can't see any detail because he doesn't want to be on camera. He doesn't want this whole nonsense to explode again and wreck his life again. He's in therapy. So again, he's on camera, face hitting. He shares the devastating toll of his own abduction experience. He swears it's real. Could a mom plant such a vivid memory in her kid's head? And what about all those witnesses? And when I say all those witnesses, we are talking about 23 witnesses. 23. It's a lot. The newspaper driver, the agents. How do you fake that? That's already, we're talking about 26 plus people involved in a conspiracy to prove that aliens are real. It seems unlikely. Carol's suspicions start to feel like jealousy. Linda's story is the crown jewel of Bud's life's work, and Carol's just the camera operator. Maybe she's feeling sidelined, inadequate. Bud's book on the case gets optioned for a movie. The book is called Witness, which him and Carol actually wrote together. They literally wrote this together. It's optioned for a movie, like it's doing big things. And you can see Carol seething. Like she's literally upset because even though it's Bud's work, the focus, spotlight is on Linda. Linda's out here singing, "Don't Let Me Down. Don't let me down." I'm telling you, you got to listen to the song. Again, the name of the song is Linda Long, "Don't Let Me Down." I'm going to put it in the comments so you guys can go and like watch it. You understand what I'm saying? You guys could look it up on YouTube. It's a pretty dope song. And in her past life as a singer, saying, "I already was a star. I didn't need to lie to be famous. I chose the wife life." And she did. She has pictures with John Wayne, Mia Farrow. Like, she already was doing her thing. Her father was a famous boxer. He was doing his thing in the Golden Gloves arena. Like, she was known. She's around. She was around. And even in her neighborhood, when they're showing like Carol following her through the neighborhood, you can kind of see she already had that star quality. People were already being drawn to her. But she was raised Catholic. Old school, the old neighborhood, all right, where mothers are like, "No, you're gonna go to church on Sunday, you're gonna find a husband, you're gonna have some kids, you're gonna get married, and you're gonna stay married." By the way, Linda and her husband are still married, both of them still alive and doing great. Her husband looked amazing in the docuseries. I think she looks really amazing as well. But Carol is not done. Carol's not done. She claims that Linda forged letters. Okay. Let me show you the letters because it's just something that you have to see because it just simply makes no sense at all whatsoever. And I was really looking at this point in the docuseries like, are you on crack, ma'am, Miss Ma'am? You got to be on crack. Let me see. Hold on a second. Boom. So here is what it is. These are the letters. She says one letter looks similar to Linda's handwriting. And this is hardly conclusive. Excuse me. You see this H right here? This H right here has a leading swoop, right? You can tell the person who wrote this swooped in, shot down, started the H up here, looped it over, and went into the rest of the name. And this one, you can tell the person who's writing this is more controlled. They have one straight line here. And then even the loop in the H is way different. However, also what's different is the flow of the word. You can tell, you know what I'm saying? Like you can see how the word flows. You're not seeing that same flow here. Where's the double loop in the P or anything that indicates? The way the O is written is massively different. This is a loop. This is a flowing signature. This is very much stunted. When we look at the address, even how the T is in this East, EST, this is a whole different style of writing here. When we look at the 16th portion of it, 16th has the TH. Why is the TH not here? Even the New York, the ends are massively different. This is not conclusive evidence. But again, she uses red herrings like this to discredit what Linda is saying, and also, in my opinion, to discredit her husband's work. But she claims that Linda forged the letters, replacing signatures to fool Bud. Carol even dismisses the nose x-ray, saying you could fake it by taping something to your nose. Carol, we see it. This is not how x-rays work. This is an x-ray where you can clearly see the left nostril as well as the right nostril. You can see the woman's eyes and her eyelashes in this x-ray. You can even see the bone matter that shapes her skull. This is something that was definitely embedded in the right side of her skull. So what is going on with Carol? I'm just saying real quick. She starts attacking Bud too, calling him a cherry picker, accusing him of ethical violations, even comparing him to her father. Now, it turns out Carol was raised Plymouth Brethren, kicked out by 72 family members for questioning their faith. She's a doubting Thomas. And Bud's UFO obsession feels like a religion she can't buy into. And I know it was the blood. And I know it was the blood. And I know it was the blood for me. It's these atheistic people, these people that don't have a connection to the universe, to God, that are always very miserable, very bitter. Very bitter. Yes, girl, yes. So now, in episode 1 of the docuseries, Carol says that, Bud also regressed her because she wanted to know if it was real. Like, she didn't believe nothing this man was talking about. She needed to feel everything real all throughout her life. So when they asked her what happened, she was like, I don't want to talk about it. But when it came time to slander and defame Bud Hopkins, who passed away a long time ago, all of a sudden she wanna loop that all in and say he's reminding her of her dad. Well, my dad never let me ask questions, and he got rid of me. And Bud never let me ask questions. Hey, sis. She stops his book from being republished. Witness never went into republication. So if you get a copy of Witness, it is a first edition. Treasure it, even if you don't believe in UFO phenomenons, just simply because it's one of those books that won't be reprinted. So it's a treasure. It's a valuable book. She kills the movie deal because Bud was flirting with Linda. Well, not really flirting. I think I would say teasing more so. Oh, we could get Sharon Stone to play you, because I promise you, Linda is a chain smoker. All right, throughout the whole docuseries, every time Linda is talking, you see her with the cigarette. She's over there like, and then with her raspy voice, such a cute little lady. But she keeps pushing to tear down his legacy. And what she did to his legacy is so deplorable. It's so deplorable. Hi, love.
Hey, baby. You need something?
I need your lips.
Oh, shit.
Because your kiss is all I miss. Because your kiss.
Come on.
Thank you. Goodbye. So anyway, yeah, no, I play too much. So let's get into some of the defamation that Carol was getting into. So this is from an open letter to the UFO community, ufotrail.blogspot.com. And the author says, and lastly, do you consider yourself more of an expert on the subject of alien abduction than Bud Hopkins was? You better be, because you're going after a saint. And a lot of people will feel they have good reason to dismiss what you say out of hand. I really don't like what you're doing. I could hear you in the video. It sure sounded to me like his partner in work was setting him up and he didn't even know it. Now that is just disgusting. With Bud dead and no one to speak for him, this has the look and feel of a hatchet job. Now, Carol Rainey responded to February 23rd of 2014. She is no longer here. Carol Rainey has since died. Her YouTube channel still remains, and we're going to look at a little bit of content from her channel a little later on in the show. I said all of these things with documentation before Bud died. So that charge has little power. He and his devoted supporters had their say, just as you're still having yours. You have some valid points, ones that I'll address in a longer form work, both in the documentary and in the book. She said, you finna pay me for my thoughts. But let me briefly say that your perspective and terminology suggests that you're in a religious frame of mind, one that won't help you be objective about good research methodology that will actually produce knowledge. And let me say this. Just because someone is religious and they have a religious frame of mind doesn't mean that they don't understand good research and methodology. It's extremely biased, prejudicial even, for someone that has no belief in God to summarily dismiss someone else's perspective and point of view because they are faith-based in totality, just as well as it is horrendous for someone that is faith-based to summarily dismiss someone's opinion just because they don't believe in God. But what I notice is these atheist people always try to take a dig at God. Be careful, all you heathens. I don't want to see you go in the lake of fire. Mind your manners. Because the great thing is people that believe in God at least have some hope about what's going to happen after they die. If you don't believe in God, then you believe when you die, you just go into the void. And I think that's pretty sad. But God bless you and keep you. If you regard anyone in this field as a saint, I think you've lost that ability. Bud, the two Ds, like she's being very much antagonistic. And I think that's all that like she really has as someone that can't find footing, as someone that feels like God didn't love her, that God abandoned her. Because she did say her questions always made her lose people. And she did die very much alone. Sad. Bud made significant contributions in offering support to people who felt traumatized and in making the media and popular culture aware of an anomalous experience related to UFOs. I'm not suggesting otherwise. I was a participant in some cases with him that I think are quite credible, and I will be showing those too. But I am strongly opposed to Bud's manipulation of facts and his telling the world that certain individuals' UFO reports were factual and credible when they were neither. Right now, I'm more interested in trying to ensure there be no more Emma Woods out there, vulnerable people preyed upon by a researcher who has zero qualifications in psychology, hypnosis, medicine, cultural contagion, etc., and zero ability to handle the issues that arise. I am now speaking about someone who's quite alive. Child. So is it that the UFO thing was the issue? Is it that her feeling that Bud was attracted to Linda was the issue? Or was it just simply a jealousy because someone else had a connection to a higher being that she could never feel? Yes, I was Bud's partner, and you can hear off-camera questions which indicate that I was always asking the hard questions. I supported what he was doing for many years until the facts in front of me said that this was a deceptive and dangerous business. After you made money off of it and you didn't want him to make no more? Because if you didn't believe in him, why were you making money with him? And I mean, hell, as an atheist, you can go ahead and lay down in the bed with the devil because you have no moral compass. You can quantify to yourself, justify to yourself why it's okay to be benefited by something that you don't believe in, right? Because you don't believe in anything. That's when my opinion changed, and that's when I stopped being part of that community. The mark of a good investigator, scientists will tell you, is that she has the ability to change perceptions once the facts have changed or been more clearly perceived. But the point is, it was never about facts changing, except for the fact that you started to exhibit extreme jealousy when it came down to your husband. I'm going to read this without any extra commentary because this is sick. This is something that I'm very proud of. This is from Carol Rainey. That in all the years of work that Dave has done and I have done, along with a number of other people, we have never had to take anything back and say, boy, did we make a whopper of a mistake. We've been very, very cautious. We haven't had cases one after another blow up, despite the effort of many, many, many debunkers. And that's why we can say that the material we presented tonight, as strange and complicated and difficult as it is, I believe going to stand the test of time, like the rest of it has. So there you have it. No mistakes were ever made. The flawed, overly credulous, and at times unethical research tactics in the Emma Woods case, in the Mortella Rose, Dora's, Beanie's, and Linda's cases did not exist. Wow. And so neither the researchers nor the UFO community learned a damn thing. Denial is such a terrible waste of an opportunity. There's often enormous power in not being paralyzed by the fear of failure, especially when people learn from either watching or making the mistake. Now, there's no mistakes. There's no mistakes. And the community didn't learn anything, but you're saying the cases didn't exist. So this is a sick and twisted mind. The cases certainly existed, evidenced by all the media coverage. But because of an inability to look at her own behavior, to look at the idiosyncrasies and the inconsistencies in what she's saying, she would just say there was no mistakes made. Certain abduction researchers have been making a lot of mistakes, not just lately, but in the past as well. Serious guffaws that keep mainstream scientists and public funding of research far, far away from that circus. Serious guffaws on an ongoing basis that send fairly knowledgeable people like me and many others running from the field. But when will ufology as a community, UFOlogy as a community, bother to learn from those mistakes? And will the community ever have the courage to step up to the two priests of high strangeness and say, how are you a priest and you don't believe in God? Thank you for your courageous and dedicated work in this field, Hopkins and Jacobs. It's been great. You were true pioneers. We know that your belief system is strict, heartfelt, and sincere as death, but we'll take it from here. We just don't think it's possible that you alone, you two, exclusively hold the truth about this human experience with the other. Face it, you've been engaged in an activity that makes it impossible for you to see clearly. Not anymore, you don't. So thanks, but we'll take it from here. And this is Carol Rainey. This is a literal publication that she wrote. You would discredit your husband who spent his whole life researching and doing great work in the field because you want to be the main character? And if you think I'm bullshitting, here's a PDF. the high priestess of high strangeness, co-creation of the alien abduction phenomenon by Carol Rainey. And it is quite a read. Maybe one day we'll do it on Members, but this is literally her with Bud. So you want to tear down his work and then use his image to make money. You want to talk about everything that you did together, but tear down his work. And I mean, it's literally, it's the most disgusting thing I've ever read in my life. It really is. And whether I believe in UFOs or not, that's a non sequitur. It's just the simple fact that you were his wife, that you actually participated in all of his work. And after you discredited him and got him ostracized from the community, got his book basically stopped, frozen, you then want to call yourself the priestess? So you wanted to be a star. You're a star. That's what you are. That's how you felt, Linda? That's how you felt? Shit is weird. Like, Linda is very weird to me. I mean, Carol, not Linda. But Linda had enough, okay? Now, in episode 3, it gets a little rocky. Like, I'm not going to hold you. Episode 3 was worth it. I'm telling you, I watched this docuseries twice in one day. All 3 episodes. Like, let me watch it. Let me watch it again. I'll give you my ultimate opinion, of course, at the end of this. But, you know, Linda had enough, baby. They did this little sexy thing with the camera, right? So they recorded Linda saying what she had to say about Carol. They recorded Carol saying what she had to say about Linda. So they played for Linda. Carol, like, talking trash on her name, like talking about her motherhood, that she's a liar, that she faked it. She was a bored, drunk housewife looking for attention. And honey, Linda had been really, like, low key, really calm, giving, you know, super cool vibes. All right, none of the chaos. But she was like, that Carol is a vindictive liar. She's a son of a bitch that was trying to ruin Bud, who has been dead now for 12 years. Or at the time of the, you know, recording, for 12 years, because Carol died in 23. This was released in 24. She's so convinced that the docuseries got it wrong that she's suing Netflix for defamation, claiming it paints her as a fraud, claiming it puts her in a bad light, claiming it goes against what the Netflix team said to her when they optioned her to record this series. And I'm going to be honest with you. You guys know I'm really good at pulling up legal paperwork. This is an ongoing case because you can't pull it up. You can't pull it up. So it's still ongoing. When Carol watched what Linda had to say, honey, you can tell that every single word Linda said was like a straight dagger into Carol's heart. It was over with. And then she passed away in 23. So I wonder if she passed away from a bit of a broken heart. Because Carol could barely hold it together. You know, she was like almost crying, biting the lip and shit, doing the fake ugly Cameron face when she was about to cry, calls Linda a liar. But with no clear win in court yet, the truth, it stays kind of murky. This feels like jealousy derailing a cosmic conversation. Carol's out to torch Bud's legacy, but Linda, she tells the doubters to kiss her Italian ass. And I'm kind of with her. So what's the truth? Is Linda a master manipulator? Or was she really abducted? I mean, the docuseries doesn't say, but it leaves you haunted, questioning everything. That, folks, is why the Manhattan alien abduction is must-watch TV for Netflix's spill. You got to watch it for yourself. You got to really watch it, catch the nuances. I mean, I'm giving you an overview of it, but to really experience it in full, you got to watch it for yourself. Now, there's a couple little pieces I want to look at. Not too much. Because again, Carol Rainey, I'm not a jackass. She has a YouTube channel. I'm gonna drop her YouTube channel in the chat, in the comments, so you guys can go over there and look, and you can really get into what she's talking about over there. Like, if you are a non-believer or if you are a believer, it's still great content. So let's look at, I'm going to start here. Now, this, remind you, is her filming. She filmed this, and I don't think this piece was in the docuseries, but we're going to look at it just a little bit. Okay.
A set of his own crayon drawings of the event. I thought the similarities between his and Janet Kimball's drawings were striking. Maybe too striking. But it was the manila envelope that began to attract my attention. Janet's drawings had been sent to Bud in this ordinary padded envelope. But something was different here. And then I realized all of the other letters and envelopes sent by witnesses, they'd all been typed. I didn't recall seeing a single piece of handwritten correspondence from the key witnesses, not until Janet Kimball's envelope. But one other person related to the case had written extensively to Bud by hand. I compared the two handwriting samples. At first, I was stunned. I'd had a few doubts and questions about the Linda case, but I hadn't expected this. Then I made some phone calls and went into action. I took along the handwriting samples and the drawings, including a couple of drawings that Bud had not included in the book witnessed. I left the drawings with a registered art appraiser and headed across town to meet Roger Rubin.
Well, I am a question document examiner. I specialize particularly in question handwriting, which is to try to determine whether handwriting is written by another person or not. And I've been accepted as an expert in courts of a few different states and in arbitrations 79 times. And this is over a period of 23 years. I was given the handwriting as known exemplars from a woman named Linda, and I have 6 or 7 pages of exemplars in her handwriting, and I was asked to compare it to the handwriting on the large manila envelope and to determine whether or not it was written by the same person. The first comparison is with the large letters, but the more telling comparison and the more revealing comparison is usually with the small letters, because it is the small letters that shows the unconscious writing of the individual. But because large letters are interesting and it's an easy starting place, I started by comparing large letters. And the first large letter I looked at was the H in Hopkins. And I noticed that there was a virtually identical H in the letter signed Linda, dated May 1st, 03.
That is literally nowhere near the same signature, but you could start to see how, like, she's clearly like extra. She's extra. And you guys, you know, it gets to be super disturbing because she also had, which one? Let's look at this one.
Miserable and damp. I couldn't concentrate because there was this man sitting behind us. He was facing me, but behind Sal.
Yeah.
And he was just staring at me, and he was wearing this hat. He still had his trench coat on.
Do you think he wanted you to think that he was watching you?
Yes.
No, he wasn't being, the guy is really, going to be concealing. He's not going
He
to.
was deliberate.
Yeah.
I came away feeling it was a deliberate act to intimidate me.
Yeah.
It was almost as though maybe he thought he was Humphrey Bogart walking through the fog.
Yeah.
And he put his hand in his coat.
Yeah.
And very slowly pulled it out. And here I'm trapped.
Yeah.
No way I could have escaped. And all I could do was sit there helplessly and say this.
Yeah.
Very well dressed, very handsome.
Yeah.
He reminded me of Clark Kent in a way. And then he came.
Now, is that the type of situation where a woman that has been devoted to her husband forever might start to feel a bit jealous, a bit unsettled? Probably. You see Bud's face. Bud is smiling. He's happy. He's very engaged in the story. If she's telling the truth or if she's lying, she's still giving an engaged tale. But what about other UFO sightings that really have nothing to do with Linda? Let's look at a piece of news from the time, shall we?
Earlier this month, a man in Tennessee reported seeing a dime-shaped object whirling through the sky at incredible speed. He's not sure that it was a UFO, but for 3 out of 10 Americans, the answer may be obvious. There are many true believers out there, and one of them held the highest office in Arizona. CNN's Gary Tuckman reports.
Fife Symington is now a businessman. He was the Republican governor of Arizona for 6 years, elected when the first George Bush was president. Now, a decade after leaving the State House, he takes me to a Phoenix park and discloses something unlike anything uttered by any other high-level U.S. politician.
If you had been here 10 years ago and standing out here and looking up there at the lights and the view, you would have been astounded. You would have been amazed.
Governor Symington is referring to what is now known as the Phoenix Lights, an object videotaped by many and seen by thousands over several nights in the Arizona sky in 1997.
Major sighting here.
It was described by witnesses as larger than a football field and silent.
It was a giant V, all right? And the right side of the V went over us. The left side was like a couple blocks over it.
We just didn't know what to do. You know, it was just like, my God, how big is this thing?
The great state of Arizona, Fife Symington.
The former governor, a Vietnam Air Force veteran, had never publicly acknowledged seeing it until now.
And I suspect that unless the Defense Department proves us otherwise, that it was probably some form of an alien spacecraft.
So why didn't he say anything then? Partly, he says, because he didn't want people to panic.
I think as a public figure, you have to be very careful about what you say, because people can have pretty emotional reactions. And I said my goal wasn't to try to stir the pot.
And he went to humorous and controversial lengths not to stir the pot. He held a news conference after the Phoenix Lights to announce the mystery had been solved.
And now I'll ask Officer Stein and his colleagues to escort the accused into the room so that we may all look upon the guilty party. Don't get him too close to me, please.
In the alien costume, the governor's chief of staff.
This just goes to show that you guys are entirely too serious.
UFO enthusiasts were not amused, especially since the governor was believed to have seen nothing. But now he's coming out.
The lights were really brilliant, and it was just fascinating. I mean, it was enormous. It just felt otherworldly. You know, in your gut, you could just tell it was otherworldly.
Symington will be talking about this in an updated film about UFOs called Out of the Blue. He has also talked with an organization that wants UFO information more out in the open.
It's very significant that someone of the stature of a governor would come out and say that they acknowledge that they experienced a UFO.
So, and this is from back in the day. So what exactly is the truth? Do aliens exist? Do they not? Do people just not want to accept the obviousness of the truth? Is it something to really be afraid? Are you being extremely ridiculous if you think in this big, vast openness that is the universe, we are the only thing here, especially when we start looking at things like, you know, the pyramids and the, you know, crop circles all over the world. How did they get there? But the other day as well, good night, YouTube Unfolded. The other day as well, There was a post. A new study suggests that a potentially hostile 7-mile-long alien spacecraft may be headed towards Earth, scientists say. It's very intriguing overall, and it brings about a conversation that most don't want to have. Because if you listen to Christians, it's always the end of days and the end of times, and God is coming back. So you be the judge. But do yourself a favor and go watch that docuseries. I think you will enjoy it. As for me, you know, I do believe that Linda's story was real. I believe that there have been so many UFO sightings and tales of abduction that at some point, everybody's not making up the same thing. The same way that we go into the wilds and we forage and we put trackers on animals and then we come back to see how they are doing, how they fared, what has happened in their ecosystems. I think that the same thing could be being done by aliens. It's possible. It's a possibility. But is it an alien in the way that you or I think? Maybe not. Maybe it's just an encounter with universal energy, a higher power. I think people summarily dismiss encounters that people have with spirituality and spiritual beings because they too, deep down inside, have a longing for that type of connectedness. We all know people that are gifted with different spiritual gifts. We all know people that have an aunt, a cousin, a brother that can sense the spiritual energy in the room. So by that logic alone, we are not alone. I don't know. But anyway, y'all, I'm going to go to bed. I just wanted to get this one in the can. I may cut this up, edit it, or whatever. You never can tell. I want to thank you guys for joining me for this episode of Netflix and Spill. We still have some other shows to get done. Don't worry. I'm working on getting them done. My schedule's just been crazy. Kids going back to school, end of summer, all this and all that, family time and stuff. But I love each and every one of you. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Peace.
It's against my religion to tell y'all my business. Tell y'all my business. Tell y'all my business. It's against my religion to tell y'all my business. Right now, I'm going to mind my fucking business. It's against my religion to tell y'all my business. Tell y'all my business. Tell y'all my business. It's against my religion to tell y'all my business. Tell y'all my mind your business. 100K or more in my pocket. I need 20K by this week. I need 100K or more. You hear me? In cash. I need 20K by this week. You talk too much. Talk too much. You talk too much. Talk too much. You talk too much. Talk too much. You talk too much. I don't live here. I'm chilling. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Clear the way. Clear the way. Clear the way. You hear me? It's against my religion to tell y'all my business. Tell y'all my business. Tell y'all my business. It's against my religion to tell y'all my business. Right now, I'm going to mind my fucking business. It's against my religion to tell y'all my business. Tell y'all my business. Tell y'all my business. It's against my religion to tell y'all my business. Tell y'all my mind your business. I need 100K or more in my pocket. I need 20K by this week. I need 100K or more. You hear me? In cash. I need 20K by this week. You talk too much. Talk too much. You talk too much. Talk too much. You talk too much. Talk too much. You talk too much. I don't live here. I'm chilling. Sway, this my shit.
Sway, the weed makes God.
Please come here. Come.